Hi everybody, this is Susan with Pumpkin Hill Stampers. Today I have a Stampin' Show and Tell for you, and we're going to play with the Love What You Do stamp set, which is currently available to all of you as a pre-order for the upcoming new catalog. There's some great bundles Stampin' Up is offering, and I have all those links and information on my newsletter, so if you need to subscribe to the Show and Tell news, the link is below. We're going to kind of stamp on the fly today. I've been seeing tons of cards made with this set, and I know why, because it's absolutely lovely, as are the papers that are coming with it in the bundles. So first I'm going to show you a card that I've been seeing, and from what I've learned is it was shown at the Stampin' Up Onstage convention that they had a few weeks back, and it's a great way to showcase designer series paper, so I'm going to show you a take on that. So what I've done is a standard card. I'm using Rich Razzleberry. So if you imagine a standard card, right, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 when it's folded, but I've cut off, I believe, 3 inches from the front, so that exposed it like a flap. Okay. Then I have a piece of designer series paper, and this is specialty paper, so it's thick, so it's almost as thick as our cardstock. And I've cut this down to be 5 1/2 by 3 1/2. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to run snail along the inside edge of my card here. And then I'm just going to put my designer series paper, I'm lining it up with the back of the card. So I'll get my corners and my edges straight. And then I'm just going to fold that flap down and adhere it. Now, that's pretty, right? All on its own. But now look what you get when you open up. You see the back side, the beautiful paper on the back side of that as well. So isn't that a fun way to use designer series paper? Because usually we have designer series paper and you glue it down and you lose the other side. In this way, you get both sides. So if you have some fabulous paper where you want to showcase both sides, and it's maybe the extra thick specialty paper, there is a new and fun way to think about cutting your cards to start. Now, we have this fabulous velvet ribbon, which is also in the Rich Razzleberry, so I'm going to add some of this right to the front right now. So I'm going to put that right down the seam to kind of give us a fun texture on there. I'm going to use my mono adhesive. Hopefully it's going to come out nicely for me. And I'm just going to run a bead right along the seam there between the cardstock and that DSP. And then I'm just going to push my ribbon down on that to get it to adhere. Kind of run my finger along that velvet because it feels really good and it's fun, but get it to adhere. Okay, and then we'll cut the tails off in just a few minutes. So now I thought maybe we would try to color one of our Pearlized Doilies with our blend. So I have the Rich Razzleberry, light Rich Razzleberry pen here. And I haven't tried this yet off camera, so I'm trying it with you. So we're just going to paint on our Pearlized Doily. And see how I can change the color? Now that I'm doing this, I'm thinking it might be easier to do this with a sponge dauber and the ink pad, because this has a lot of open pieces. Let's see if I use the side of my blender, if I can get it to go a little bit faster. And now I'm not pushing hard on my blender because I don't want to dull down the tip of my blender pen. Okay, I just want to get some of that color on there. And I'm only going to do half, I think. I'm going to cut it in half. I only use half a circle, so I'm only going to do half on camera because that saves us a little time. I know we're all busy with Mother's Day and graduations and end of the school year and all the other fun stuff going on, right? So that's going to dry pretty quickly. And then I'm just going to cut that right up the center. So I have half a painted doily. So you could do that with any of our colors to make that coordinate with the card. So isn't that fun? Okay, so now I have half a doily. So I'm thinking I'm going to put it on like this, but let's do our words first. So I have a piece of Very Vanilla that's going to become the inside, and I have another piece of Very Vanilla we're going to make a tag out of. So I thought we would stamp in Rich Razzleberry, and I think on this one I want to use, oh, I guess I'll use It's a Beautiful Day. Okay, so I'm going to ink that up. I'm going to stamp that down, and then I brought out my circle punches. I've got the 2" and the 2 1/4 inch. So let's see if a 2" will fit. I think that's going to be too small. It's pretty tight. So let's go to the 2 1/4. Sometimes the best way to know what size to use is really just to measure in the punch. Okay, so there's that. So I have that now. And I think I want to stamp a little flower on there as well. So let me get another block, and I'm going to take out this flower. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp that in Rich Razzleberry as well. So I'm just going to get a little bit of the flower right here. Okay. And then if you wanted to, you could use your blender pen to add some color into that flower. So let's go ahead and do that. So now I didn't stamp with Memento, so I want to be careful to kind of color up to but not over my stamped lines. I hope that makes sense, because the colored ink is water soluble and the blender pens are alcohol based. And so if you rub them over each other, they kind of cancel out and you're going to get a blur. But if we're careful, we can color in our stamped image with the blender pen I have here. But instead of just coloring straight over the image like I would if I had stamped it in Memento, I am coloring it very purposefully just in between sections of the flower. So there we go. Alright, so let's see. I've got the ribbon, I've got the front, I've got the doily, and I'm just going to put that on just like that. That'll be perfect. Alright, so I'm going to put a little snail on the back of my circle punch, and I'm going to put that on, so that's stuck. I'm going to put that on my doily as a half circle, and then I'm going to put a dimensional on the back of this whole combination. I'm going to put on 2 dimensionals, one on each side, and that's going to bridge the ribbon that's already on there. So I'm marrying that doily up with the ribbon, and then we're just going to trim off the ends. Perfect. So see, that one went together pretty quickly. That one should be pretty easy for you guys to case. Okay, so now for the inside, we've got this piece. I'm going to stamp these flowers again, just on the inside piece, just to give it a little bit of continuity from the front. And then I'm just going to put that down inside as my liner. If you wanted to color those with your blends, you could do that as well. I'm going to leave mine not colored this time. And there we go. We've got one finished card. So, pretty fun, huh? So I don't know what they're calling this design of card, but it's kind of like a showcasing of the paper, so I think that's pretty cool. Okay, I have another card I want to show you today, and this one is really coming together just out of some scraps. So they're bringing back Mossy Meadow, which was a green I loved, and it's in this designer series paper. Now this happens to be the back side of that, so I am just using a strip of this on this one. I ran this through my Big Shot already. I used the lovely Floral dynamic folder. This is one of those thick folders, so you only use it with one plate, but I did run that through my Big Shot. And when I ran it through, it was really close to this edge. So I thought, well, okay, I can run a ribbon or something down this side. But then I decided, why not use designer series paper as the ribbon, right? And tie all that lovely green in together. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to mount this smaller stepped in base to my Mossy Meadow backer. And I'm just going to center that on there. Oops. I'm really going to try to center that on there. Let's try that again. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to give that a good crease. Now I'm using Pear Pizzazz as my secondary green here. It coordinates with the paper, but it's also light enough that you don't necessarily have to line the inside if you didn't want to, but you certainly may. And so now I'm just stepping in this piece of designer series paper. Okay, and then I'm going to come around and I can trim that off. I always trim it off from the back side if I can, because then I can get my scissors right up against the cardstock and trim it off neatly. Okay, so there's the front and the side. Now I'm going to stamp on this one right at the bottom, and I'm going to go ahead and just stamp in the Rich Razzleberry. I think Rich Razzleberry and green are a nice combination. And so down here I have enough room. I'm going to stamp my thank you right on the face of the card. Just like that. And then on the inside I have another piece of this paper, and I'm just going to run this right down like that. So dressing up the inside of our cards a bit. It's always a fun way to use up these scrap pieces of designer series paper, and adds a little bit of surprise to the inside of your card. So that's it for today, guys. Short and simple, I think. All the details of how I cut it and the steps I used will be on the Show and Tell News next Tuesday. Remember, all the videos I do this week are on next week's edition. So if you need to, subscribe to that Show and Tell News. A lot of you have been joining me, and I'm really excited that you're interested in what I'm doing. And this is a really fun, vibrant Love What You Do bundle that they're offering as a pre-order with some extra freebies thrown in. But you can order it with the new catalog, of course. It'll be in the new catalog, which starts June 1st. And don't forget, I am a demonstrator. If you need a catalog, contact me and I'm happy to send you one. So all my information's below, and I'll see you again in a couple of days. Bye-bye, everybody.